Welcome back to Unpopular People.
We believe that listening and learning from each other is key for personal development and success.
Today in our interview, Marco Tanelli from Brazil.
Marco was born close to São Paulo. There he still lives.
Marco has traveled the world and is a sales representative today.
In this interview, Marco tells us about his profession and what keeps him motivated.
He likes to help out in his community. That's one of his hobbies. We also like to help out in our community. That's why we offer services on our website. Just visit www.unpopularpeople.com.
For questions and feedback, please leave us a message on our website www.unpopularpeople.com. We are looking forward to hearing from you.
And now enjoy this really inspiring interview with my really good friend Marco Tanelli from Brazil.
Yeah, hello Marco. Hello Marco. Welcome to our podcast Unpopular People. Hello to Brazil. Our first question for you today. How are you? And how are you? So, where were you born and how did you grow up?
Okay, thank you. Thank you guys for inviting me to be part of this project. It's my pleasure to work with you. And so cool. I born in Brazil, specifically in a city. The name is São Bernardo. It's a city near from São Paulo city. It's like a satellite city. One of the biggest cities in São Paulo state, right? So with more than 1 million citizens living here. I born 42 years ago, so I'm 42 years old right now. And I grew up here in this city, and basically in the same city. I didn't have the chance or any. I didn't move. I haven't moved so far. I have traveled a lot around the country and around the world, but I've never I'm never living in any other state or even country. Okay, so basically I'm born and live still in the same city.
Okay, cool. But how is it when you grow up in a big place like this? When, I mean, 1 million people, that's for you, it must be normal, but for other people, it's probably like a lot. Like I can't imagine growing up in a place with 1 million people. So tell me a little bit about your childhood. Like, how was it like? Do you have any siblings? Did you go outside playing much? How was your childhood like?
Well, so it's an interesting question because sometimes you never stop to think about your childhood, and you remember that, but it's really hard to talk about. Not hard, but remember things about our childhood. But it's a regular one. I mean, I had several friends that grew up with me at that time. I lived in an apartment in the same city that I'm living in right now, but at that time I spent like a half of the time in this city, but with my family we start traveling to the beach every single weekend. So during the week I spend with in this São Bernardo city, but on the weekends we always travel to the beach near like a 1.5 hours driving from here. So basically I grew up here in the same city, but at the same time I spent half my childhood on the beaches. Right? That's why I have so strong connections with the ocean, because I started surfing with 10, and also I used to play basketball when I was teenager. Actually, I played basketball until the university, but after that I stopped. Right, but it was a great child. I mean, the neighborhood was great because we could go outside, walk on the streets, play football, play soccer on the streets as well. So at that time I would say was much more safe than nowadays, right? So it's a really interesting question,
Great, thank you. Living near the beach sounds amazing, especially for us. For us coming from Germany, we don't have this. So how went it further? You said you went to university. What did you study?
I studied electrical engineering. So I graduated as an engineer 20 years ago. But at that time, I went to the university and I start studying at night because I had to work during the day. So I start working when I was 17 before go to the university. So basically, when I went to the university, and I had to start studying at night. So it was a little bit. It was a difficult time because I had to work at the same time studying engineering at night, and I had Saturday classes as well. So, but it's okay. It's worth it. It's worth it.
And why did you choose electrical engineering? It was, right? Why did you choose it? And where does it come from?
When I was younger, I went to the college before the university, and it was a technician college. It's not the traditional college, and I went to this public school. We focus on technical stuffs before go to university. And at that time, I was influenced by my father because he was an engineer as well. But at the same time, my mother, not try, but I had so much influence from her to take another way. Almost I took architecture instead of engineering. Almost I start studying architecture instead of engineering at that time. So I had to take a decision. I had to take it, pick one of them. And every life and any moment that you have in your life, you have to choose something. And I think this is the beautiful thing in the life, because if you don't have the choice, this is gonna be difficult for you. Every time that you have the possibility to choose, I think you have the free will, like I say. I mean, I think it's one of the most important things that we have in your life, that the possibility to choose. Once I read an interview from some pilot from Formula Indian, like a Formula One in United States. The name is Formula Indy, something like that. And one of the pilots suffered a really bad accident during the race, and he had to cut off his legs because of the accident. And after 6 months recovering, the reports did an interview with him and asked him if he would like to come back to drive, go back to the races. And he said, right now I don't have the option to choose if I can or cannot, because I can't choose right now because I don't have my legs. So in fact, I'm trying to say that it's really nice when you have the possibility to choose something in your life. Doesn't matter what it is, and of course, and every choice has the good things and the not and the bad things. Not bad things, but something that you have to handle.
Great. So I think this story you told us, it seems that it was an inspiration for you. And were there some other people in the past who influenced you? You said your mother, but somebody like an idol you looked up to? Yeah,
some idol. I think my idols come from sports. Michael Jordan is one of them. as I played basketball when I was teenager, and I always try to learn from him, but not from how they play, but how he was dedicated, to the sports. So how efforts he did, how many trainings that he took, how many hours he trained. So and another thing is like Michael Jordan is one of them. I can explain a little bit more what I'm trying to say later on this conversation. But and also from my country, of course, Ayrton Senna is one of them. He's one of the most famous pilots in Formula One. Unfortunately, he died in 1994 during in a race I think in Italy. But and also there's a few others idol, like from other perspective. I don't want to go through this because it's a religion, it's completely different. But if you look at how Dalai Lama proposed his lifestyle, and how humble he is, and how he trying to help others, is inspiration for me as well. So, and basically, and also we have local idols, like some friends that I have was roommates or colleagues from the university. So a couple of idols that I have, but we can keep with these three so far.
And you said already that you've traveled a lot, and I can totally relate to that because we've met in Stockholm, and we met again in São Paulo, yes, and traveled together to the carnival and saw so many things. And you've been around the world so much. You've seen so many places. What country would you choose to live in if you would have to leave Brazil? If you had no choice, you can't stay in Brazil anymore, and you have to leave. Like, where would you go? Like, what would be the country of choice for you?
Thanks for asking, Benjamin. This is one of my main goals in my life. I have traveled a lot. I have visited almost 40 countries so far, and I have personal goals to meet at least 80 countries. So there are more 40 to come. It's part of the life, And if I have to choose, Australia is one of them for sure. It's a really nice country. The only problem for me, it's really far from Brazil. If I have to come back to Brazil, or even to travel twice a year, it's gonna be expensive, and also it's gonna take it's a long trip. But I would say Portugal is one of the destination that I have in my mind. Not just because it's in Europe, because we can go to the beach. There are a lot good beaches that I can surf. The weather is cool. It's like the weather is similar to Brazil, and we have summer, we have winter, so we will not suffer. So I think it's gonna be a good place, and also because of the language. If I have to work, it would be easier for me to be not to be accepted, but to do business in my mother language. It's a little bit would be harder if I have to start over from any other country. But I think would be the destination, maybe. And also my father is planning to move to Italy, after all this COVID crisis. So he has planned to move to Italy in the next two years. So it would be great to live near to him, that's, so all these points, I can select Portugal as a destination at least at this moment.
Okay, cool. So can you tell us a little bit about your work? What are you doing now? You're working from home, but normally you are in an office, right?
Yes, actually, I am always on the road. As a salesperson, I have to be on the customer side. Sometimes I have to go to the office, but in fact, I spend just one day in the office and the rest of the week traveling and visiting my customers. And I started my career as a sales engineer, as like a sales consultant with the technical side of the business. And after 10 years working as a sales engineer, I moved to a sales representative, and I started my career as an account executive almost 10 years ago. So I started working in a telecommunication company. I'm not sure if I can say the name. I'm not sure, but for sure I can say because that's a public information. You can go to the LinkedIn and see my resume there. So I started. Of course I can say that. I started working in a company. The name is Lucent Technology. This company doesn't exist anymore. And then after that, I moved to another one. The name is Avaya. When I start focus on my career on contact center business, customer services business. I worked there maybe almost 7 years. And after that, I moved to Salesforce 6 years ago. And I started the business here in Brazil with more 20 people in Salesforce Brazil office. And now this company has more than 500 employees. And last December, I took a hard decision to leave Salesforce to start a new journey in my career. So I started working at ServiceNow in January 1st.
What's the name of the company?
ServiceNow. It's a company from Silicon Valley as well. The business is smaller than Salesforce, but the company is growing fast. It's like when I started 6 years ago at Salesforce. So we are in the same place or the same pace that Salesforce used to be in 6 years ago. It's a really good company as Salesforce. So in some case, they compete with each other. So we are competing in some deals that we have today. But both of the companies are really nice companies, and I'm pretty happy. And we, as you know, we are always lucky to be in the right place in the right moment.
It's true. Yeah. So when you look back at the time after university, you were done with all your studies and you chose to start working, or you started working or you were working already while you were at university. So what advice can you give others that are probably struggling? Because I think sometimes it's really hard, especially for young people, to start a career and to look ahead in a future where they don't, I'm going to be working for the next 40, 50, 60 years, whatever. And now we don't know, especially in this new situation with this virus and everything changes.
This new normal.
So what advice can you give others to stay motivated and to stay on track with the things they do in life?
Yes, the only certain that we have in our life is that this crisis is gonna pass. This can take like 1 month, 2 months, or maybe 6 months. Nobody knows, but in fact we know that we're gonna pass. And after this pass, who has been prepared will be, how can I say that? Will have the best opportunities when it is pass. So keep focus on your main goal. Write down your goals. Write on the paper. I have my goals on the paper. Every year I write my goals and I review my goals for long term. I have plans for the next 3 years, 5 years, and 10 years. I know exactly what I want to be in 5 years and 10 years. And every single year I review these goals, make some changes, but the main goal must be your priority. So forget any kind of distractions that you can have in your life. Don't postpone everything. Don't procrastinate everything. Just keep your own track. Sometimes it's hard, and every life is like I'd like to compare our life like a Ferris wheel, right? Because sometimes you are on the top, sometimes you are on the bottom, and the trick is when you are on the top, you have to work hard to stop the wheel as much as you can, because you have to enjoy that moment, because you are on the top, working hard to take all the advantage that you have when you are on the top of the wheel. But when you are on the bottom, you have to go fast, have to work fast, and have to do whatever you want to speed the wheel and go back to the top. That's the
how do you do it?
One thing.
How do you do it to stay on top, or to to work fast on the bottom?
Take the right decisions. When I'm gonna give you an example. When I left my job at Avaya 7 years ago, I closed the biggest contract in the world at that time. And first of all, I delivered everything that I sold before left the company, because this is another thing that I learned. I don't want just to sell something and take the money and run, because it's not fair, and we cannot build any trust act like that. You have to deliver exactly what you sell. But let's go back at that moment. 7 years ago, I decided to left Avaya, and that time I was one of I closed the biggest contract globally speaking. And when I took that decision, I look all the around the world, what was going to happen in the tech company's environment, what was the new technology emerging, and I took decision to go to leave Avaya and go to Salesforce at that time. Today it's easier to go to Salesforce because everyone wants to go to the Salesforce, because this is one of the biggest company in the world, is the most admired company in the world. But that time, nobody knows that Salesforce would be what Salesforce is today. So I took a decision, and based on all the research that I did, and I stay on top. Because if I decide, just because I closed the biggest contract at that moment and decide to stay at whatever, stay when I was, probably in the next 2 years, I would suffer a lot and go down.
Yeah, great advice. Thank you for this. So you think much about your goals and how to reach them. How are you doing this? I don't know, do you have a special routine that every month you look at this, or how are you doing this and thinking about yourself?
Yes, great questions, and thanks for asking. I will not lie, because I'm a human being, but I try to wake up early, like at 5:30, and start my day as early as possible that I can. Right now I can't go to the gym, but in the regular basis I go to the gym like at 6 a.m. After this I take my breakfast and I start thinking my day and review my goals for the day. Sometimes, not sometimes, but before I go to bed, I look my calendar for the next day, just to make sure that I have everything on track to the next day. You asked me when I review my goals. Every day I review my goals. So, and when you work as a salesperson, depends on your territory that you have. Maybe you have big accounts. It's a different way that we have to work. If you have a small accounts, there's another way that we have to work. So we have to plan, depends how your territory run. You have to run your territory as you as you have the business, as a CEO of your company. As an employee, you have the ability to invest our time and the money and develop a territory. This is a great. And another thing that I try to do is to, when you wake up, you have to not fix your room. You have to do your the bed, make bed. And every single day, when I wake up, I make my bed, because if I had a bad day, I know that when I come back, I have a clean and a good bed to rest. That list.
It's nice to hear this, because you and Ben have this in common. He says always the same. Make your bed. It's the best thing for the day. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. At least you have a clean and a good bed to rest.
And the first task of the day is already done. So first task, check.
Yes. Check.
Cool. And what happens if you ever if you don't reach your goals? If you screw up and something happens that wasn't calculated? You probably can relate to that, and you don't reach your goal. How do you get this resilient to come back to a state where you want to be?
Yes, it's happened a lot. As a salesperson, you have ups and downs. We can go to the top and to the bottom in the same day. Sometimes you can close a contract in the morning, or losing a contract in the morning and close another one in the afternoon. But from business perspective, I would say, if something goes wrong, the best thing that I do is calling another customer, go to the customer side and trying to understand, try to help and others. It's hard. It's not easy, but I'm pretty sure that is the best way to forget or just forget, but to
manage.
How can I say that? Overcome, manage the situation, or overcome the challenge that. But for example, if I lose a contract this morning, it would be hard for me. But when you when you visit new customers, your mind, you change your mind, your thoughts that in that moment at least. And in our personal life, I would say it's harder than professional life for me when something is because when you break something in your personal life, probably could be a relationship or a friendship or your health, would be much more difficult to fix or to overcome this challenge. But everyone has this situation, and for that, for my personal challenge, I try not meditate as because I'd like to meditate, but I have to start, and but I pray and I put my thoughts. I try to organize my thoughts and relax and pray in this situation. But I think for me it's harder than for personal. It's harder than in the business.
So tell us a little bit about your free time when you're not working, your personal...
When you're not traveling.
Yeah, when you're not traveling, your personal things. So what are you doing? What are you enjoying? What are your hobbies?
Okay. I have two main jobs, main hobbies, not jobs, but hobbies. I have a motorcycle, Harley Davidson, so I sometimes once a week, probably on Sunday, I just rent my bike and ride a couple of miles or a couple of kilometers around the city. Sometimes I travel to the beach by motorcycle, and also when I have a chance, on the weekend we travel to the beach and I surf. For me, it's the best. Surf for me is the best thing that I can do in my free time. Unfortunately, it's not so easy to travel every single weekend because not depends on the weather, depends on the ocean. You have to sometimes you don't have waves, so it doesn't make sense to go to the beach to surf and with no waves. And also I'd like to go to pubs and drink a beer and make that stuff.
Cool.
And also Netflix, some right now so many series, so
like a whole show a day sometimes. So.
Yeah.
So, by the way, what's your favorite TV show? Do you have a recommendation for our listeners?
I think everyone knows that. I mean, there's I enjoy Sons of Anarchy.
I remember you've been watching this all the time.
Yeah, just because it's from some motor club in US, especially in California. But Game of Thrones, of course, and Vikings as well. Breaking Bad. So this is the traditional ones, right? And I cannot remember a good one. No. If I remember to the end, I will tell you.
Yeah, okay, thank you very much. And I know that you have like this really also nice house at the beach, and you have your motorbike and everything. But I also know that you help out you have a community where you go to, I think twice a week it was.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about this? And yeah.
Sure, thanks for asking. I just completely forgot because it's so important that everything that I have already told you guys. For me, and I think for every human, there's no peace or there's no way to get better without helping others. I think is I try to do in my job as well as a salesperson. I try to help the people before I sell, because every single conversation that I have with a single customer, I try to help them, trying to understand if I can help them, if I can be relevant to their business. Otherwise, there's no make sense to be there. And the sale is the consequence. The money is the consequence of that. First of all, I have to be to build trust. And in my personal life, I do the same. In our community, actually this year I stopped a little bit with twice a week. I go once a week, just because sometimes you have to prioritize. But for sure, helping others, giving back to the community, especially when you leave, is one of the most important things that I do. For example, we live here in our neighborhood, and I try to buy everything from this neighborhood. I don't want to go outside and spend my money on any other state or city, because I want to my neighborhood to increase, to improve. So that's another thing that I do in my personal life, and of course helping others. Now, once a week we go to the place, to the site. It's a religion community, but also we deliver basic stuffs to the poor people that lives on the streets.
Donations.
Donations, yes, thank you. We do donations to the community that live near our homes, and also we donate not only food but clothes and everything, and personal stuffs to the people that live on the streets once a month. In this particular case, this is a part of our nature. You have to giving back. Have to. I think not you have to, but to be a better person, there's no better way to help others.
When did you decide to start with this, or did you grow up with this, so that you did it since you have been a child?
No, I don't know why. Actually, this started like 10 years ago when I realized that I had to change my behavior, my not my personality, but sometimes you have to look inside yourself and because the values is there. Sometimes just you forget, and you have to bring back your values that you learning when you were a child. And sometimes because of the crazy life, you just forget these values. So probably when I got divorced, and I realized that sometimes something had to change in my life, and I start looking inside me and do research and bringing back my real values, and that's why it happened. And another thing that I put in my life, and tomorrow, for example, you asked me before how I plan my day or how I visit my goals. Every day I try to be a better person, better Marco that I was yesterday. And that's the miracle of the life, you know. Every day you have the new chance to do a better, to do better than you did, you know.
And do you have a recommendation for people who want to change something in their life, but they don't know how to start with this?
Yes. First of all, you have to want to change. It's not easy. It's not a easy process. You know, you have to work really hard, and you have to sometimes challenge yourself. Just throw away something that you have learned. You know, I don't know, throw away, but put out.
Reconsider maybe.
Reconsider, and you know what you have learned. But it's not easy. But the first step, I want to change. I want to change my life. I want to change, and it's not easy. And work hard on as how can I say that? Everything in your life have to work hard. You have to practice it. It's not as simple. It's not easy. It's not simple. When you go to the gym, you have to work out at least 3 months to see any result. So,
and simple is boring anyway. Easy and simple is boring, right? We want to challenge.
Yes, right. No, that's right. Another phrase that I really like is about. It's funny because how can I say that? How much I work, more lucky I am.
The luckier you are.
This is correct.
The more you work,
yes.
The luckier you are.
Yes, yeah, that's the phrase that I'd like to say, because the people can see your success, but no one really knows how hard you work to achieve that.
It's maybe discipline equals freedom.
Yes, another point of view. Yeah, probably. Yeah, we can say that. But it's not easy, Benjamin. It's not easy, Liz, to do reconstruct yourself. You know, to reshape your mind. You reshape. The body is easy. Your mind maybe take years.
Yeah.
You have to work the whole life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a constant process, I think.
Yes, a constant. And we, for example, if we start today and we are doing a great job, and 6 months from now, sometimes happen, we can just make it at the same mistake that we used to make at the past. But that's okay. It's part of the process, you know. You have to learn, okay, that's fine. And let's put on track and keep going.
So, and what about the future? What are your goals? Where do you want to be, I don't know, in 5 to 10 years?
Do you want to share some of your goals with us?
Yeah, sure. In the 5 years, actually, I have not 10 years, but when I achieve 50 years old, I want to be financially independent, you know, to do whatever I want. So if I achieve this goal before 50, which means in 8 years, probably I will reconsider my goals and rephrase or create a new one. So in long term, in 8 years, I would say I wanted to be financially independent to do whatever I want, In 2 years, actually in next year, should be this year, my Italian citizenship. Citizenship?
Citizenship, yeah.
It's correct?
Citizenship, yeah.
Yeah, I would was planning to get my Italian citizenship this year, but because of the COVID crisis, I had to postpone to the next year. So probably May next year. This is the short term. Daniela and I, my fiance, we are planning to have a baby maybe next year.
Okay, congratulations.
Yeah. This is another. This is a change in my life, because I haven't never thought about to have a child, before. But as I mentioned at the beginning of the conversation, you have to maybe your goals change, and you have to adapt your life, And for me, it makes sense to change this part of the plan, and because we are together, and she wants to be a mother, and now I am prepared to do this movement, or to give this next step. From professional perspective, I have two options here. We are just start growing business in Brazil at ServiceNow. I'm leading the customers workflow business. It means that I'm leading contact center business at Salesforce. So I would say the idea is to grow the team in Brazil, in Latin America in the next 3 years. Let's see what's going to happen in next 3 years. And I think that's it. No more than 50, my plans is, and after get my Italian passport, my Italian citizenship, the idea is, plan to move, or at least live for a quiet period in Portugal or any other country, as maybe
cool.
In 5 years.
Yeah, thanks for sharing.
Thank you very much. And now talking about kids, what would you do if you your kid has to go to school? And what do you think kids should in general learn at school? Like, what should be a subject that's probably missing nowadays in the school system in Brazil or around the world?
I have to be honest with you. I don't know exactly how to answer this question, because I don't know. I don't know about our education systems. Anything that I can. I think if I answer incorrectly, I can be. It's not. I can be not fair with someone. But in fact, I think it can be. Go ahead, please.
Mm-hmm. And if you have something you learned from your life, what do you want to teach this kid?
Okay.
Think about something you learned in your life you want to give further to the child.
Like a life advice.
Respect. I think respect each other. Respect everyone in your life. Stay humble and hungry. Stay humble. Stay humble because you have to be humble in your life. Respect others. Every single human is the same. Doesn't matter how rich he or she is, or doesn't matter she or he, or doesn't matter anything. Every single human is on earth in this planet to be better, to evaluate, to be better person. So first of all, respect each other. Treat everyone as you would like to be treated. And that's the two main advice that I would give to the kids.
Okay, great. Our podcast name is Unpopular People, but imagine you would be popular. So this means everybody would know you in Brazil, because of your sales you did something great. What would you do differently than now?
Or your community turns into a world religion and everyone would know you as the new messiahs. What would you preach?
Or maybe you are a politician, you know. Would be different. I don't know. Stay simple, you know. Be exactly who I am. I mean, probably because you are famous, you have to take some precautions related to security, related to your family, you know, this kind of stuffs. But only this. As I mentioned before, it doesn't matter if I'm rich or I'm famous or even I am the same that you guys. We are the same. I think what's the difference between you and me and everyone is the decision that we take in our lives. That's the only difference. Different. You choose to live in Australia. I decided to live in Brazil. That's the only difference between us.
But we also have been lucky and privileged in our life to are able to make this decision, I have to say.
Absolutely, Benjamin. And if you go back, I think every single one should have the same option. You know, every single human or kid should have the same opportunity to learn, to go to the same schools or have the same access to the information, you know. And then depends on you, and you have to work as a community or as a country or, you know, or a community. We have to work on this to provide the same possibilities, the same options to everyone. After that, depends on you. You know, depends about your efforts, how hard you gonna study, how hard you gonna practice your sports. But in fact, in my opinion, it's hard. Maybe it's a utopic. I don't know how to can say that. It's like John Lennon said. Imagine all the people living.
Yeah, we know this song.
Yeah, and I want to add something because it's so important what you said, I think. But for everybody, everybody wants something different. Maybe not for everybody is the same, the right way. So if everybody decide on his or her own what he wants in life and his is acting to this and to reach this goal, then it's great.
Yeah. And if as you say, like if everyone has like the same options and then it's just up to them what option they choose, it's really good train of thought. Cool. Thank you very, very much for those wise words and for your time and everything. How can people find more about you? Do you want people to find more about you, find out more about you? Do you want to share like any Instagram profile or Facebook profile or something like this? Or do you want, if people have questions about your community or about or anything like this, do you want them to go through us or do you want them to contact you directly?
This can go through you guys or can reach me at LinkedIn. My LinkedIn is mtanelli, Tanelli. My last name, so my first letter M and Tanelli, M Tanelli. And also my Instagram is open, so just follow. Is almost the same nickname, right? But I just put some shots from around the world, and from business perspective, just use the LinkedIn. It would be with my pleasure to answer the questions for sure.
Cool, thank you very much. We will link this in our show notes so that the people can find more about you if they want to.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, guys.
We wrap this up and wish you all the best for the future, for your goals, for your plans, and say goodbye for today and hear or see you soon. Marco, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
And if you have any final words, there's now the time for it. We say goodbye from our side.
Just stay safe and healthy, guys. And we know that this crisis and this situation is gonna pass soon. You don't know exactly how many months or or days, but we are pretty sure that this is gonna pass. And prepare yourself. Enjoy the time that you have with your family, with your parents, with your husband, wife, colleagues, partners, whatever you have. Just take this time and trying to learn something different in your life and prepare yourself, because when this pass, this is gonna be the real opportunity for everyone, or for at least for the people that are prepared for this new situation. If you are ready, probably you'll be in the hot spot in the next few years, I would say.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to this interview. We hope you enjoyed this episode. You can support us by sharing our podcast on the social media platforms and with your friends and family. This would help us a lot. Thank you in advance.
For questions about unpopular people or questions for Marco, please visit our website www.unpopularpeople.com. We are looking forward to hearing from you.